In the previous video, we saw how to write content to the console and how to view the console. But what if you want to write content to the page itself? Well, there are a couple of different ways of altering the contents of the page, and we'll see them in more detail when we get to the document object model. But for now, I'm going to show you one way that's reminiscent of what you do in PHP. So in PHP, you can create islands of PHP code that emit HTML right into the page. So basically, you're embedding PHP code into the page. And you can do something similar in JavaScript as well. So what I'm going to do is inside of this body tag, I'm actually going to put a script tag. So here, instead of saying this is my week 1 document, I'm going to put a script tag. And inside, I'm going to put JavaScript. And the JavaScript for this is just going to call a method called document.write. This is my week 1 assignment. And then if I go ahead and reload, the text appears here. So if I look at elements and I open that div, I see that I have both the script and then immediately after that script tag, whatever was executed in there is going to get written to the document before it proceeds to the next tag, which is an end div. So I can use this, for example, to create a table with some values in it. So let's go ahead and create a table. And I'm going to put a row in there and a cell. And this will be, actually make it a header. So that will be a value. And then another header called type. And that's my first row. And then my second row is going to have a cell. And I'm going to put the value 0.0. And the type is going to be a script tag. And then I'll close off this row as well and close off the table. So now if I load, I should have a table, and I do. So it's showing the value and the type. Now all of these islands of JavaScript code are connected. So for example, instead of putting the string here, I can declare a constant value up at the top in a separate island. And then down here in this island, I can use the value. Now let me just point out, more recent versions of JavaScript do have a const tag that you can use to declare constants, but I'm just going to use variables here because they're more widely supported for now. And I'm also using all uppercase with underscores to show that something is meant to be a constant, even though this is really just a variable. So let me go ahead and reload and see if that still works. And it does. I get the same result, so it's using the value of that variable. So I'm going to go ahead and use that here as well. I'm going to put a script tag, and I'm going to say var value is equal to 0.0. And then here, I'm going to write the value. And then here, I'm going to check the type of value. So let's go ahead and reload. And now I have a little problem. So you'll notice that when I have an error, I get a little number next to the red X. And if I click on that, actually go to the console and click on this link here. So I have an unexpected token. Click on the link. That takes me to the problem in my HTML. And so I forgot to include my closed script tag. So let's go ahead and add that and reload. Okay, so now the problem here though is that there's no way to look at this value and tell whether it's a string or a number. So what I might want to do is use the ternary operator, which is introduced in chapter 1, to say type of value equal string question mark. So if this is true, I'm going to return the value double quote plus value plus double quote. Otherwise, I'm just going to return the value. Now, since value here is a string, it should put double quotes around it, and it does. Now, the reason I went to all that extra work is now I can copy this whole row here and paste it, paste a couple of them, and now I can try other values. So here's 0, which isn't a value, and then I'm also going to try null and undefined. And let's go ahead and try not a number. And let's do infinity. Is it capital I? And go ahead and save that and reload. Okay, so now this is a string, this is a number, null is an object, undefined is undefined, not a number is a number, infinity is a number. Now, I only need to declare this variable once instead of redeclaring it all the time. So I'm going to get rid of this var. And then I'm just going to declare it once at the very top here. Like so. Now, in this particular example, it doesn't really matter if I declare the variable or not, because JavaScript will automatically create these variables as globals if you haven't used var inside of a function, which we'll cover later. If you declare a variable at top level like this in a script, not inside a function, it's also basically a global variable anyhow. So I get the same effect, but it's a good habit to always declare your variables, and it tends to document your code as well. So this still works, and now we're writing contents to the page.